Have you ever felt that, even surrounded by people, there is a silent voice inside you, a call that no one else seems to hear? What if I told you that this feeling wasn't a coincidence, but a sign that you were born for something much greater? In this video, you'll discover why this restlessness is actually an invitation from the universe to awaken your true power. I'm going to show you the spiritual truth that has always been within your reach, but that no one has taught you. By the end, you'll understand that your journey has never been in vain and that a great destiny awaits you. Today's topic is for you, who have always felt that you came into the world with a mission, but who have often lost your way amidst the expectations of others. We're going to talk about the hidden power within you, about the wings you already have but haven't yet learned to use, and why perhaps until now, you've been living under the weight of something you haven't yet fully understood. The world is changing, and many feel that something new is emerging. But for those who already carry this restlessness in their hearts, the time to act is now. The universe is sending signals, and ignoring them could be the difference between getting lost in the crowd or finally finding your way. This is the moment to wake up and understand that you were born to fly. How many times have you asked yourself, why do I feel like I don't belong here? What is my true purpose? If these questions are part of your life, it's because there is something deeper waiting for you, a truth that needs to be revealed. As the great sage Rumi said, "You were born with wings. Why do you prefer to crawl through life?" These words echo in everyone who feels that there is a calling, an impulse that drives them to seek something beyond the routine, beyond what the eye can see. Today, I invite you to embark on a journey of discovery and liberation. A journey that is not just mine or yours, but that of everyone who is called to see beyond the illusions of this world. The journey of awakening, of understanding that your potential goes far beyond what you've been taught to believe. Get ready, because throughout this video, I'm going to reveal something that could change the way you see your own existence. A secret that has been kept under wraps for a long time and now finally needs to be brought to light. It's time to wake up to the truth, to leave fear and doubt behind and finally accept that you were born to fly. The question is, are you ready to spread your wings and discover what has always been rightfully yours? Ever since you were just a child, there was a feeling, wasn't there? That persistent idea that you didn't quite fit in, as if you were always looking at the world from a different perspective. Maybe it was the way you questioned everything around you, while others just seemed to accept it. Or the way you always sought something beyond the routine, a depth that few around you seemed to understand. And no wonder. From an early age, the universe was already showing you that there was something special in your essence, something that went far beyond what the eye could see. This feeling of not belonging can often be uncomfortable. Sometimes it seems that others are moving at a different pace, involved in concerns that seem superficial to you. But this difference, which may have made you feel isolated, is actually one of the first signs that your soul carries a special mission. You have been called to see beyond appearances, to perceive the truths that others overlook. And so you often feel that your life has a greater purpose, even if you can't yet define exactly what it is. Many people go through life just following the patterns they're given, but you've always felt that you couldn't accept everything as it was. You've always sought to understand the why of things, longing for something deeper, truer. This search is what distinguishes those who were born to fly. It's as if inside you there is a constant impulse, a force that pushes you out of your comfort zone, wanting to discover the hidden mysteries of existence. This impulse is your calling, an essential part of your spiritual journey. At times, this feeling may have brought up doubts. Is something wrong with me? Why can't I be like everyone else? But the truth is that this restlessness is a gift. It's a sign that you weren't meant to follow an ordinary path. There is a greater force within you, a spark that is not content with a meaningless life. This discomfort is actually one of the greatest proofs that there is a unique destiny waiting for you, a path that only you can walk. It is this difference that awakens your soul to a greater reality, even if it sometimes seems like a burden. And when you begin to perceive this difference not as a flaw but as a gift, something changes inside you. The feeling of not belonging begins to transform into a sense of mission, a certainty that your search for answers, for something deeper, is exactly what makes you special. It's the start of a journey, where each step brings new understandings, new revelations. And at every moment you realize that the challenges you face are actually preparing you for something greater. This feeling of being different, of being out of tune with the world around you, often brings with it a deep pain that is difficult to explain. Perhaps you've wondered why life seems heavier for you, why you carry pains that don't seem to belong to this life alone. And therein lies the secret. The pain you feel is not just a burden, it is a process of transformation. The chosen ones, those with a higher spiritual mission, often face greater challenges precisely because their souls are being prepared for something extraordinary. The sufferings you face have a purpose that goes beyond what the mind can immediately comprehend. Think of the great sages, spiritual masters, and inspirational figures who have marked history. Almost all of them went through moments of great suffering before achieving clarity about their mission. And just like them, you too are being shaped by every adversity. It's like a rough stone that, when polished, reveals its inner brilliance. Without this process, the light within you would never reach its full potential. It can seem unfair at times. You look around and see people who, apparently, lead simple lives, without worrying about the same deep issues that inhabit your mind. But you have to understand that the weight you feel is proportional to the power you carry. When your soul accepted this journey of growth and awakening, it knew there would be challenges. It knew that before flying, it would have to face storms and headwinds. It's a preparation that strengthens your wings, that teaches you to face the darkness so that one day you can guide others in their own light. And it is in these most difficult moments that the soul learns true compassion and resilience. Every pain, every loss, every tear shed is an opportunity to reconnect with your essence, to look inside and find strength you didn't even know you had. This process of facing your own shadow, of looking at your wounds and allowing them to turn into healing, is what differentiates those who merely exist from those who are awake to their true mission. This is why the chosen ones often experience loss and deep pain. They are the keys that open doors to a greater understanding of life and the universe. When you begin to understand that these pains are part of your evolution, something changes. Pain, which previously seemed like an unbearable burden, becomes a teacher, teaching lessons that cannot be found in books or words. And it is at this point that you begin to realize that every challenge, no matter how difficult, hides a seed of wisdom, an invitation to delve even deeper into your own truth. In this way, those experiences that once seemed like suffering become stepping stones that bring you closer to your own light. If this process of discovering and accepting pain seems like a lonely road, don't worry. There is much more ahead because each pain you face prepares you for a greater truth that is about to be revealed. For much of our lives, we are taught to follow a script, to live according to what society expects. Ever since we were children, we've been told what we should want, what paths we should take in order to be accepted and successful. But what few people realize is that, in doing so, we often distance ourselves from our true essence, from who we really are. Society offers us a mold, but those who were born to fly don't fit into molds. The world tries to convince us that success lies in following the rules, but true spiritual fulfillment lies in breaking down these barriers and looking beyond them. Many of the pains we feel arise precisely from this conflict. The soul wants to expand, but the world insists on limiting it. The system we live in was built to keep us in a cycle of repetition, in a comfort zone that prevents us from discovering our true inner strength. This is the secret they try to hide, that within you, there is immense power, a connection with the divine that can transform not only your life, but also the reality around you. When you understand this, you realize that what we've been told about limits and impossibilities is only part of the truth, and a very small part at that. The problem is that, over the years, we've convinced ourselves that we're not enough, that we need to conform and fit in. The idea that this is how the world works is repeated so often that we start to believe it. And this makes us forget that, first and foremost, We are spiritual beings living a human experience and not the other way around. In this inversion, we disconnect from our own capacity to create, to manifest realities, and to listen to the wisdom that already exists within each one of us. This spiritual truth is like an inner flame that never goes out, but which is often drowned out by the weight of external expectations. But if there's one thing we need to remember, it's that awakening begins with questioning. Questioning what we've been taught, questioning the standards we've been told are the only ones possible. The simple act of asking yourself, "Is this the whole truth?" is already a sign that your soul is ready to break these invisible chains. Little by little, you realize that life can be much more than a set of rules and routines. It can be a dance between you and the universe, a constant movement of co-creation, where you choose what to manifest and how to guide your destiny. When this revelation emerges, you realize that you are not bound by the limitations imposed by the world. Your essence, the one that has always sought something greater, is free. Most importantly, it has always been free. What we often lack is the recognition that this freedom is within our reach. And it's at that moment that you begin to see things in a new way, to understand that every challenge, every moment of pain, is a chance to break through yet another veil and see the truth behind the illusions. And by freeing yourself from these bonds, you begin to glimpse a process of transformation that goes beyond anything you imagined. Each barrier you overcome brings you closer to understanding the true process of rebirth, the one that prepares us for the great change to come. When you realize that the life you've been leading has been shaped by limitations and illusions, an inevitable process emerges, that of transformation. It's as if the soul has finally decided that it's time to leave behind the old masks, the old roles we've been taught to play. This moment is like a rebirth, but not an easy or instantaneous one. It's more like what happens in nature, the caterpillar that has to close itself in its cocoon, going through the discomfort of change before emerging as a butterfly. This phase can be lonely and challenging. Often, the process of spiritual rebirth resembles what we call the dark night of the soul. It's that period when everything we've known seems to collapse, when we lose old footholds and feel like we're in free fall. But in reality, this is the moment when illusions fall away and the true self begins to emerge. It's the cocoon coming apart, the old skin being left behind, while the soul is strengthened for the next stage. Every pain and loss faced during this phase is like fire purifying gold. They burn away the parts of us that no longer serve, that hinder our evolution. But this fire is not an enemy. It is a stern, yet gentle master. It is in this intense heat that the soul finds its true essence, discovering that there is a purpose behind every fall and every scar. It's a process that teaches us to let go of control and trust in the greater flow, even when we can't see the whole path. This transformation is a rite of passage, a portal that opens only to those who have the courage to face it. The caterpillar in its cocoon has no guarantee that it will become a butterfly, but it trusts in the process. In the same way, on our spiritual journey, we need to trust that there is a greater purpose, even when everything seems dark. Because the truth is that the butterfly has always been inside the caterpillar, waiting for the right moment to emerge. And so are we. We carry within us a higher version, which needs to go through this symbolic death in order to be reborn. And when you finally begin to emerge from this process, everything around you seems to take on new colors. What was once fear becomes strength. What was doubt becomes clarity. With each step we take on this new path, we begin to see life through different eyes, realizing that everything we've been through so far has been necessary to prepare us for what's to come. And so we begin to understand the importance of raising our energy and tuning into the frequency that connects us to the purpose that has always been within us, waiting to be revealed. After going through the process of rebirth comes a fundamental understanding. Everything in the universe is energy, and each of us vibrates at a unique frequency. The way we think, feel, and act determines this frequency, and this in turn attracts situations and experiences that resonate with the same vibration. This means that by changing our internal energy, we can completely transform what we experience. This is the power that resides within each of us, the ability to adjust our frequency and thereby shape the reality around us. Changing our frequency is much more than just thinking positive thoughts. It's a deep alignment between mind, heart, and spirit. Every emotion we feel generates a specific vibration. Feelings such as fear, anger, and guilt resonate at lower frequencies, which keep us stuck in patterns of scarcity and suffering. In contrast, emotions such as love, gratitude, and compassion raise our energy, connecting us to a state of openness and abundance. It's not about ignoring difficult emotions, but understanding them and learning to transmute them, using them as fuel to raise our vibration. There are simple practices that can help in this process of adjusting our frequency. Meditation, for example, is a powerful way to calm the mind and reconnect with your essence. When we meditate, we become more aware of the thoughts we create, so we can choose those that uplift us. Another valuable practice is gratitude. By focusing on the things we are grateful for, even the simplest ones, we are telling the universe that we are ready to receive more of what is good for us. And this, in energetic terms, completely changes what we attract into our lives. It's also important to pay attention to the people we connect with and the environments we're in. Each person and place has its own frequency, and by interacting with them, our energies influence each other. This is why we sometimes feel drained after being in certain places or in the presence of certain people. By choosing to be in environments and relationships that nourish our soul and do us good, we align ourselves with energies that help us maintain a high frequency. This doesn't mean avoiding challenges, but choosing more consciously what we allow to influence our energy. When we start to vibrate at a higher frequency, we start to see the world through new eyes. Life begins to flow more smoothly, and synchronicities, which previously seemed like coincidences, become part of our daily lives. The universe begins to show us that we are on the right path, that we are in tune with something greater. And it's at this point that we start to notice the signs that have always been around us, guiding us in the right direction, even at times when everything seemed lost. When you start to raise your frequency and tune into your true essence, something extraordinary happens. The universe starts to speak to you more clearly and directly. It has always been sending you signals, but now your perception is sharper and you are able to identify these subtle touches. Signs can come in many forms, such as repeating numbers, synchronicities, unexpected encounters, or even that sense of intuition that guides your steps. The truth is that the universe has always been on your side, just waiting for you to be ready to listen to its language. These signs are not mere coincidences, but forms of guidance that the universe uses to show you that you are on the right track, or that you need to adjust something on your path. When, for example, you see numbers like 11 and 11 over and over again, it can be a reminder that you are aligning with your soul mission. Or when certain situations seem to repeat themselves in your life, it could be an invitation to take a closer look at some aspect that still needs to be understood or transformed. These are messages from the universe, indicating that there is something deeper to be explored. Often the signs come through people who enter our lives unexpectedly, bringing messages that seem to resonate with exactly what we need to hear. It could be a casual conversation that strikes a chord with you, or advice that comes at just the right moment. Sometimes even the lyrics of a song you hear by chance can have a message that makes you reflect on the next step to take. The universe is creative in the way it communicates, and by opening our eyes to this, we begin to realize that nothing is really random. The key to understanding these signs is to cultivate attention and presence in the present moment. When we're always immersed in our worries and the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to ignore the little touches that are sent to us. But by practicing inner silence, meditation, and observation, we begin to recognize the patterns and messages that previously went unnoticed. It's like tuning into a radio that used to be static. Suddenly the music starts playing clearly, and every note makes sense. Over time, you'll realize that the signs not only guide you, but also bring a sense of comfort and protection, as if there were an invisible force guiding your path. They remind you that, even in the most challenging moments, you are never alone. The feeling of being guided calms the heart and strengthens the confidence that there is a greater purpose in every step. And it is precisely this confidence that prepares you to spread your wings and move forward, finally ready to leave behind the ties that have limited your journey. Once you've recognized the signs and raised your frequency, you've reached a crucial point in your journey. It's time to let go of everything that no longer serves you. It's time to release the chains that bind you to the past, to the old beliefs and fears that have prevented your true flight. You now understand that your essence has always been free and that this freedom is rightfully yours. From this point on, the transformation is no longer just internal. It begins to be reflected in every aspect of your life, and you feel more prepared than ever to manifest your purpose. The biggest challenge of flying is letting go. Often, the chains that bind us are made up of stories we tell ourselves, that we're not capable, that we don't deserve it, or that it's not safe to trust our own light. But along this journey, you've discovered that these narratives are just illusions, created to protect you from a past that no longer has any power over you. Now, the invitation is different: to spread your wings and trust that the universe will be there to support you, just as the wind supports the bird that takes to the sky for the first time. Flying is an act of courage, but also of surrender. It's knowing that by leaving behind what is familiar and comfortable, you are creating space for the new to enter your life. New opportunities, new connections, and above all, a new understanding of who you really are. And by allowing yourself this flight, you realize that the limitations of before were just shadows cast by a self that didn't yet know its own light. Now that light is your guide, illuminating the path ahead and allowing you to see the world from a much broader perspective. As you begin to let go and embrace the truth of your soul, you realize that your flight is not just for yourself. It inspires other people to find their own strength, to recognize that they too carry wings, and that they too have the right to dream and break free. You become a beacon, showing that true strength lies not in resisting, but in trusting the flow of life. And so your mission begins to be fulfilled, not through grand gestures, but through the simple courage to be who you are, to live your truth without fear. Now that your wings are spread, a new horizon is revealed. The journey that once seemed so uncertain now becomes a map of possibilities, and each beat of your wings takes you closer to the fulfillment your soul has always sought. You don't need to know exactly where you're going, just trust that the sky is your place, and that each air current takes you closer to your purpose. To fly is to accept that your destination is in the heights, where the vision is clearer, freedom is full, and the essence finally finds peace. The truth, chosen one, is that your flight only depends on you. The universe has already given you all the tools, guided you through the signs, and shown you the way. Now it's up to you to accept this journey and spread your wings with courage. Leave behind the limitations of the past, embrace the freedom of your soul, and trust that there is a great destiny waiting for you. You are no longer alone. Every step you have taken so far has been preparing you for this moment. So ask yourself, are you ready to embrace who you truly are and live out the purpose for which you were born? If these words have touched your heart, if you feel that the time has come to awaken to your true essence, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find more inspirational messages and ways to connect with your true strength. Leave a like, because it helps me understand that I'm on the right path by sharing these truths with you. And of course, share in the comments what resonated most with you in this video. Your experience may inspire others who are also beginning to awaken. I thank you deeply for having watched this far, for allowing these words to reach your soul. This is just the beginning of a journey that promises to transform your life forever. The choice is now in your hands. May you go forward with courage and the certainty that you were born to fly. Let's go higher and higher together.